Welcome back to the deep dive.
Ah,
You ready to unpack another book?
always.
This time we're taking a look
That's
at
fair.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Getaway.
Ooh, fun.
This is the one where the Heffleys decide to escape the usual Christmas craziness
Yeah.
and jet off to a tropical paradise.
Right.
But as you can probably guess, things don't exactly go according to plan.
Of course not. It's the Heffleys.
Exactly.
Yes.
So are you ready to dive into this hilarious vacation gone wrong?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Okay, so the book kicks off with Chapter 1, appropriately titled The Announcement.
And right away, you can sense that holiday tension is building in the Heffley household.
Yeah, you could feel that Christmas stress, right?
Yeah, and poor Greg, our main character, he's dreading all the festivities.
Bro, bet.
He'd much rather stay home and play video games. But then his mom drops a bombshell.
What's that?
They're skipping Christmas altogether and going on a tropical vacation.
Wow, talk about a change of plans.
Right. It's like trading one kind of chaos for another.
Exactly. So how does Greg react to this news?
He's less than thrilled, to say the least.
I can imagine.
He'd much rather just stay home, but the rest of the family is ecstatic.
Of course they are.
His mom is already picturing those perfect family moments on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's dreaming of escaping all the holiday stress.
Yeah.
And little man, well, he's just excited about anything new and different.
As always. So in Chapter 2, packing up, we see the Heffleys scrambling to get ready for this last-minute getaway.
It's pure pandemonium.
I bet.
Suitcases are overflowing. The house is a mess.
Classic.
Greg's starting to realize that this trip might be more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, the warning signs are there.
But there's no turning back now. The Heffleys are on a mission to escape to paradise.
Paradise, huh? Well, let's see how that turns out for them. Chapter 3, Airport Chaos, takes us to the start of their journey.
And surprise, surprise, it's a disaster.
Shocking.
We've got long lines, impatient travelers.
Ugh, the worst.
And of course, the Heffleys managed to lose their luggage tags.
Oh no, that's never good.
Right. And in true Wimpy Kid fashion, this leads to a very embarrassing situation for Greg.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
He ends up having to wear his dad's old swim trunks through airport security.
Oh, no.
Because his own bag is missing.
Talk about mortifying. Okay, so they're off to a rough start. Let's move on to Chapter 4, Flightmare. Any sign of their luggage yet?
Nope, still MIA.
Figures.
But the bad luck doesn't stop there. We've got flight delays, screaming babies, cramped seats.
The joys of air travel.
It's enough to make anyone reconsider the whole vacation thing.
I bet. And of course, Greg is documenting every agonizing detail in his diary.
Absolutely. You can practically feel his pain through his words. He's convinced this trip is cursed.
So they finally arrive in Isla de Corrales in Chapter 5, resort reality check. But it's not quite the paradise they were expecting.
It's that classic bait and switch you see in brochures. The resort is run down, the staff seems indifferent, and the beach is way overcrowded.
So much for escaping the chaos.
Right. And remember how they lost their luggage at an airport?
Oh yeah, that whole ordeal. What happened?
They finally locate their suitcases.
Oh, good.
But they've been switched with another family's luggage.
You're kidding. So they're stuck wearing someone else's clothes for their entire vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're forced to wear these mismatched, ill-fitting clothes. It's a nightmare.
That's hilarious. Poor Greg. I bet he's loving this.
Oh, he's definitely not happy about it, and it just keeps getting worse for him. In Chapter 6, Spider Surprise, we see just how far this resort is from the luxury experience the Heffleys were promised.
Spider surprise. That doesn't sound very relaxing.
Well, you know Greg and his fear of bugs.
Oh, right. He's not exactly a fan of creepy crawlies.
So picture this. He walks into his family's supposedly luxurious bathroom, and boom, he comes face to face with a gigantic hairy spider.
Oh, yikes. That's my nightmare.
It's enough to send him running out of there screaming.
I can imagine. So he's been forced to wear someone else's clothes, encountered a giant spider.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, the saga of the Swift suitcase continues in Chapter 7.
Okay, so they're stuck with these random clothes. What do they do about it?
They try to find the family they switched luggage with,
Oh, okay.
but their efforts are met with confusion and frustration. The resort staff is unhelpful.
Of course.
The Heffleys are starting to feel a little in over their heads.
Yeah, things are not looking good.
And just when you think things can't get any worse, they do. Chapter 8, Beach Blues, throws another obstacle in their path.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. What fresh hell awaits them on the beach?
Well, remember how Greg was excited about the possibility of swimming with dolphins?
Yeah, it seemed like the one thing he was actually looking forward to.
Right, well, that dream is quickly crushed.
How come?
They discover the dolphin experience is completely booked.
Oh, no. Poor Greg. He can't catch a break.
Nope, and to top it off, he ends up getting stung by a jellyfish while swimming.
Of course he does. It wouldn't be a Wimpy kid book without some sort of injury.
Right. But this jellyfish incident actually turns into a much bigger problem than just a simple sting.
Uh-oh. How so?
Manny, you know Greg's little brother.
Oh, yes, Manny. What did he do now?
He manages to capture a very dangerous box jellyfish in his little bucket.
A box jellyfish. Those are deadly.
Exactly. So, Chapter 9, Jellyfish Panic, is all about the chaos that erupts as a result.
I can only imagine.
Everyone's panicking.
Yeah.
They have to evacuate the pool.
Oh, my God.
The Heffleys find themselves at the center of another vacation disaster.
It's like one thing after another with this family.
Absolutely. And now, desperate for a decent meal and a break from the craziness, they decide to try their luck at the resort's fancy golf clubhouse.
Oh, the golf clubhouse. I bet that doesn't go well considering their wardrobe situation.
You guessed it. Chapter 10, Golf Course Catastrophe. The Heffleys try to blend in, but they're quickly spotted by the family who owns the suitcase they've been wearing. Yep. And they're promptly kicked out of the clubhouse and the entire resort.
No way. They get banned.
Yep. Banned from paradise. But the story doesn't end there.
I have a feeling they're not going to take this lying down.
You know the Heffleys. They're persistent, to say the least. In Chapter 11, Operation Sneak Back In, they hatch a plan to return to the resort.
Okay, I need to hear this plan. How do they think they're going to get back in after being kicked out?
Well, let's just say their plan involves a lot of sneaking around, strategic hiding, and a healthy dose of luck.
Sounds about right for the Heffleys. But does it actually work?
You'll have to wait for part 2 to find out. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we left the Heffleys, they were devising a plan to sneak back into the Isla de Corrales resort after being kicked out.
Oh yeah, banished from paradise but determined to get back in.
Exactly. And in Chapter 12, Back in Action, we see them putting their plan into action.
So lots of tiptoeing and hiding behind palm trees, I imagine.
Pretty much. They managed to sneak back onto the resort grounds, blend in with the crowds.
Wow, they're actually pulling it off.
For a while, yeah. They enjoy the pool, the beach, even managed to snag a few snacks.
Sneaky. But knowing the Heffleys, this newfound peace won't last.
Right you are. Chapter 13, Busted. Again.
Oh no, what happens now?
Remember those mismatched, ill-fitting clothes they're stuck with?
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
Well, those clothes end up being their downfall.
Again.
The family they swap suitcases with, they spot them.
Oh no.
Leading to another hilarious confrontation.
So are they kicked out of the resort again?
You bet. Double trouble this time.
Wow.
But it's not just a simple ejection. This time, it turns into a full-blown chase scene.
A chase scene.
Oh, yeah, with security guards, panicked tourists.
Oh my God.
And a windsurf board.
Wait, a windsurf board? What?
Greg, in a moment of desperation, he grabs the nearest escape vehicle he can find.
Of course he does. So he's out there on the water, windsurfing away from resort security.
Yep. And here's where things take a surprisingly heartwarming turn.
Yeah.
While he's out there trying to figure out what to do, he encounters a pod of dolphins.
Really? The one thing he was looking forward to on this whole trip.
Yeah. It's like the universe finally gives him a break.
That's sweet. But I'm sure this peace won't last. How does he get back to shore?
Well, remember that barrier between the mild side and the wild side of the resort?
Oh yeah, the one Greg's dad has been trying to sneak into?
Let's just say Greg's windsurfing skills aren't exactly top-notch.
Uh-oh.
He crashes into the barrier.
No.
Breaks it down completely.
He destroys the barrier.
Unintentionally, yes.
Wow, so he unleashes chaos upon the resort.
Chaos is putting it mildly. Guests from the mild side flood the wild side.
Oh my gosh.
It's pandemonium.
So what do the Heffleys do?
Seize the opportunity, of course. They use the distraction to their advantage, blend in with the crowd, and escape the resort for good.
They actually got away.
They did, but their adventures aren't over just yet.
Of course not. What happens next?
Chapter 14, Homeward Bound. They face one final hurdle. The long journey back home.
I bet that's a whole other story.
You guessed it. Delayed flights, lost luggage.
Again?
Again. All the usual airport hassles.
Figures. But they eventually make it home.
They do. Exhausted, but intact.
After a vacation like that, I just want to collapse and forget it all.
You'd think, right? But the Heffley's misadventures aren't quite over.
Seriously, there's more.
Chapter 15, Wanted. A hilarious conclusion to the book.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What could possibly happen now that they're home?
Well, Greg's browsing the Isla de Corrales website, probably reminiscing.
Yeah.
When he stumbles upon something shocking.
What is it?
The resort has posted a picture of the Heffleys on their website.
No way.
Front and center, with a caption asking anyone who recognizes them to contact the resort immediately.
They're on the resort's wanted list.
Pretty much. It's the perfect ending to their chaotic vacation.
That's amazing. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been following the Heffleys on their eventful trip to Isla de Corrales.
Eventful is putting it mildly. They've dealt with just about everything you could imagine on a vacation gone wrong.
Yeah, lost luggage, spider encounters, jellyfish stings, even a dramatic escape on a windsurf board.
It's been a wild ride. But now that their vacation is over, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What are some of the key takeaways from the getaway?
Exactly. It's been hilarious to follow their mishaps, but there's got to be a deeper meaning behind all this chaos, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things the Getaway does so well is satirize the modern family vacation. We all have these idealized visions of relaxing on a beach, spending quality time with loved ones, escaping the stresses of everyday life.
Right. We picture ourselves sipping tropical drinks, snapping those perfect family photos, but the reality of vacation often involves delays, unexpected expenses, and those little annoyances that can turn a dream trip into a comedy of errors.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the Heffleys experience. Their trip highlights the disconnect between our expectations and the reality of travel, especially when you add in the unique dynamics of a family.
It's like Kinney took those relatable moments of vacation frustration, the lost luggage, the screaming kids, the sunburn, and amplified them to create this hilarious yet strangely heartwarming story.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the external chaos either. The book also explores the internal struggles of our main character, Greg. He's constantly worried about what others think of him, striving for popularity, trying to avoid embarrassment at all costs.
Which, of course, makes him even more prone to those awkward situations. It's like he's a magnet for disaster.
Exactly. But amidst all the chaos, there are also these sweet moments of family bonding. Even though they drive each other crazy, the Heffleys ultimately have each other's backs.
That's true. They support each other, even when they're accidentally switching luggage, getting chased by security guards, or ending up on a wanted poster. It's that underlying love and loyalty that make their misadventures so endearing.
Right. And it reminds us that even the most dysfunctional families can find moments of connection, create lasting memories, even if those memories involve a few mishaps along the way.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? I think The Getaway encourages us to embrace the unexpected, to find humor in the chaos, and to remember that sometimes the best stories are the ones that don't go according to plan.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So the next time you're planning a family vacation, remember the Heffleys, pack your sense of humor, and be prepared for anything, because sometimes the most memorable trips are the ones that go hilariously wrong.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Getaway. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another literary adventure.